So for those of you that don't know, my dad and I are going to be participating in the Apalachicola RiverTrek 2018 this October. We're doing it for two reasons. The first, to help raise awareness for the plights and the difficulties that come from the water wars between Georgia and Alabama and Florida, who all have a vested interest in the water that's in the river. The Apalachicola River empties into the right at town of Apalach and contributes to not only the freshwater plume that goes out into the Gulf of Mexico, but dictates the fresh and saltwater mix that's in the bay. And then as a result, impacts not only the wildlife in and around the bay and the watershed, but the commercial fishing as well. So now we're talking about folks' livelihood. So that's why it's very important. And the second reason that we're doing it is it's just been kind of a bucket list item that we've talked about for so long, and finally we're doing it. So we will be putting in the river in Chattahoochee, Florida, and then paddling 107 miles south all the way to the town of Apalachicola, right there in the Gulf of Mexico. And it's 107 miles, doing it in 5 days, accompanying a group of other like-minded individuals, the river trekkers. And the goal is to raise awareness for the Apalachicola Riverkeeper and the watershed. And also, it's a fundraiser for the Apalachicola Riverkeeper, which is a member-based nonprofit organization that does all kinds of great things: education, advocacy, research. They're just good folks. It's a good cause.
Keep in mind, in the Florida Panhandle, in recorded weather history, there has never been a Category 4 hurricane, and we're just under Category 5. So this is something that even hardened Floridians who are used to hurricanes have never experienced before.
150 mile an hour winds, just 2 miles an hour shy of being a Category 5 when it hit landfall.
In Apalachicola, we have a report of over 8 feet of storm surge already, and that's just going to continue to rise over the next couple of hours.
finally made it out here. We're at Ochlockonee State Park, which is just north of Sopchoppy, Florida. Finally got some river to paddle on. Just to bring you up to speed, so obviously Hurricane Michael had different plans for Apalachicola RiverTrek 2018. So the trip that was supposed to happen in October didn't, because of a Category 4 hurricane. That's a good reason to cancel the trip. And so apparently this part of the country got about 2 or 3 days of heavy rain this past week. And so the Apalachicola River is just at flood stage, and because of all the water upstream, they're expecting the river level to actually rise. So we're not paddling the 106, 107 miles of the Apalachicola River like we'd planned. But that's okay. Semper Gumby, always flexible. So Georgia and the rest of the Apalachicola Riverkeeper team has come up with a couple of day trips. So we're setting up base camp here at Ochlockonee State Park. We're going to do a little few hours of paddling around this particular area, and then come back and hang out, and then we're going to do a couple other day trips. We're actually going to end up on a little bit of the Apalachicola River later this week, but should be fun. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's a little chilly. They're expecting it to get below freezing tonight. I would say it's probably in the 40s right now, so should be a little brisk getting out on the water, but just excited to get out here. So it's a completely different experience from anything that North Carolina has to offer, for sure. It's going to be good times, as they say.
Ricky, unless we went that way, then we'd have to. Anyhow, but this is really pretty, and it's a little more protected than this. Perfect. As we stay off the. But it's a good 7.5 miles around here, and we'll go a couple miles up this creek, so we'll have a good paddle today.
All right, so we finally made it. After all this rigmarole, finally paddling in Florida. Not quite what we had planned for, but we're out here. We're doing it. We are moving. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I got the e-brake on. Welcome to mile 3-ish of the Apalachicola RiverTrek turned Ochlockonee River. I think now we're on, it's known as Buckhorn Creek, and moving right along. We've been out here for, let's see, we've gone about 3 miles and it's been about an hour, so I'll have to figure out how fast we're going. Maybe take my shoes off to count that high. We'll figure it out. Just absolutely gorgeous. We've been able to kind of see some of the remnants of Hurricane Michael. It's interesting how nature just is able to absorb natural events like that so much better than man can. As Dad and I were driving up from Appalachia this morning, passing through East Point and Carabel and up to Sopchoppy, you know, the Highway 98 was just lined with piles of debris from houses that are no longer. We passed city parks that were just completely closed, past concrete slabs that used to be houses. But out here, only an untrained eye would be able to miss any kind of effects.
have different cycles. With reservoirs, that natural system gets disrupted, and so what we keep telling the Army Corps of Engineers, we need flows that at least mimic some of that. The time to hold our water back is not spring and summer, when things are spawning and we have an extra need for water. Regrettably, what happens is that's when the water starts being held back upstream because a lot of recreation is a designated authorization of the Corps, so Lake Lanier, popular for boating and jet skiing and all those kind of things.
And we are here on the morning of day 2. It's Thursday. We're still hanging out in Ochlockonee National Park, but had a good time last night sitting around the fire. It's humbling to be around all this experience. The folks here, I'm amazed at the knowledge base and how much experience just sitting around the fire. You know, you got folks that have literally done this for a living, and I'm just trying to be a sponge to soak up all of that information and all the knowledge that they just freely are just putting out there as if it's nothing. So I'm humbled and very grateful to be a part of all of this. But we're going out for another little day trip. Leaving right from here and putting in same place we did and head out in the water. Just very, very fortunate to be part of this group, and we'll see you out there. Well, taking a little break, about halfway through day 2, done probably about 3 or 4 miles so far, and just a beautiful, beautiful day. We stumbled across, well, we didn't stumble. It's a nice thing about coming with a group that's got some experiences. They knew the spot was here, but a beautiful bluff that overlooks the river and the creek that we came up. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna relax here a little bit and then paddle on, do a few more miles, and call it a day. We'll see you out there.
This reminds me of a little bitty sand mountain. That's the problem with being a pioneer.
Got the jet.
Read the paper over my breakfast.
They get the times every day. They get our educators this time.
I'm not quite sure where it comes up. Right, David?
Somewhere up ahead.
Somewhere up ahead it comes up.
Yeah, we're lost in the salt marsh.
We're hopelessly lost in the tidal zone.
Oh well.
think he knew.
No, but the instructor,
Oh, come on, we're friends.
What's that cactus?
He'll get your attention.
They let people sleep on the ground, so that camp on the ground, they don't use the room.
Alright, we're finally putting in for day 3. We're at Graham Creek, which is right off of Highway 65. And must have, in all the times we've come to Appalachia, we've driven by this spot countless times. But first time we're actually stopping, so looking forward to actually paddling some of these waters that we have driven through all these years. So should be pretty fun. The river is really high. Most of the boat ramp is covered up with water, so get a few cars in position, and then we're gonna get the boats wet. So we'll see out there.
yes. A lot colder than that,
Okay.
Ah, okay. Like this 10 to 12 foot alligator just laid across.
It's gonna be tricky.
You want to go there or you want to take
I don't know how deep that log goes.
Let's follow him.
Yeah, but this is an island in front of us, and
Here, but this is like wind and current, and anyway, they made it out before dark, fortunately.
The current is strong.
Yeah, it is. This one's pretty good. I don't think we're going to
Apalachicola River. We're not going to be paddling 107 miles of it today, though. We're going to be paddling basically what you see here. We're going to paddle across, and then that trestle off in the distance. That's our landmark. We're going to go up a little creek and explore that, and hopefully this wind doesn't give us too many problems. Another beautiful day, as they say, good times. Alright, so we finally did it. We're kayaking on the Apalachicola River. I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of a day trip here because apparently the weather's going to take a turn for the worse this evening. So we're battling what they say are 10 to 15 mile an hour winds out of the east. So we just crossed the river right above the railroad trestle, which is maybe a couple hundred yards, but with the wind coming at us, rather sporty. So we're cooking along now, though. We've got the current at our backs. Another beautiful day. We couldn't ask for much better weather. We made it. Feels we can now say that we have done surfing in a sea kayak. That little trestle, that railroad trestle, has had a few tricks up his sleeve. For whatever reason, the water is just super choppy in between the pylons. So it's a bit of a roller coaster going through there, but it was fun. Well, we did it. Let's see, so 4 days of paddling. Not quite the 107 miles that we were planning on, but still a really, really great time. And couldn't think of a better way to finish it than surfing across the Apalachicola River to make it back to our boat ramp. So, awesome experience. We're finishing up and gonna go have lunch at Cafe con Leche and raise a glass or three. And we'll see y'all next year.